Power Project family, how's it going? Now, on this podcast, on almost every single episode, we talk about sleep because sleep is important for your workouts, for your recovery, for your nutrition, for your fat loss, for your muscle gain. Literally everything comes down to getting great sleep at night. That's why I've partnered with 8 Sleep mattresses. Now, they have something called the Pod Pro cover. Now, this cover is something you can put over one of 8 Sleep's mattresses or your existing mattress, and it temperature regulates through the night so that you get the best sleep possible at every phase of your sleep. You know, most people think that you need to have your room temperature at 68 degrees Fahrenheit, but our temperature is different. I sleep hotter than most people. You might sleep cooler. So that's why the 8 Sleep mattress for yourself and your partner, either side of the mattress can have its own temperature regulation. And the cool thing is that the 8 Sleep app watches your temperature through multiple nights, and it'll literally change the way the temperature is set based off of the way you sleep. It's crazy. It's literally the Tesla of beds. Andrew, tell them about it, dude.
Yeah, dude. This technology is insane. It's like the most high technological, can't even say that word, piece of equipment that I have in my whole house. So you guys got to head over to 8sleep.com/PowerProject. That's 8 spelled out. So EIGHT sleep.com/PowerProject, and you guys will receive $150 off of your Pod Pro cover or your Pod Pro cover and mattress combo. And I must say that mattress is actually extremely comfortable. They didn't skimp out on anything on this product. Again, 8sleep.com/PowerProject. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
No, definitely don't say that on
I'm not going to say who I got it from.
You got it from Jesus. He's right here.
He's like, here, son. Shrooms.
He's been
from the earth.
He's been really good with his consistency.
He has.
and he's never, you never see him sitting down. I've never caught him sleeping on the job. He's always standing there. Damn it. Marky Moo's not bad, but let's be honest, he hasn't been here the whole time.
And he's just hugging that kratom. You can tell he's an addict.
That's true.
Oh, you're talking about Marky Moo though, not Cena.
Yeah.
My bad. Marky Moo's been there for a minute.
Cena's got the kratom holding him up. That's how bad it's gotten for him.
Yeah, he needs that to get through each day.
Shit.
But Jesus' front delts must be lit up because he's been like that for a while now. I mean, you go through our past podcast episodes, he's just like this.
He's in the same
whole time,
holding up the sins of our people.
He's very stoic.
I love you, Lord.
So is that a good argument for isometric holds being useful?
His shoulders don't look bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I could make anything I wanted, my shoulders would be larger. You know what I mean? So it's a small criticism, hopefully it doesn't strike me with a lightning bolt right now, but like if you could make your shoulders like infinitely large, but maybe he just thought like, if I make them as large as I could, no one would have like a reference point of any kind because it would just be so large you wouldn't be able to tell he was even like a person, You
got to give it to him though. He has an amazing beard and amazing hair.
And he's got Bo Jackson right behind him.
Yeah.
He's like, I created that shit.
Bo Jackson has his back.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, guys, we have 698 people on Discord now.
No.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, close to 700 people on Discord. I was on it this morning. 100 people were like just chilling online talking.
Really?
So check out the Power Project Discord, guys. It's popping in there. We hop in every now and then and answer questions and chill. And it's just a fun time. We just go back and forth.
I'm going to hang out there a lot more.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. No, I know I need to. Because like I'll get on Twitter because I like to get a pulse on what the simulation is talking about.
The simulation, yeah.
And so like I'll check out Twitter, and when I say simulation, it's like legit. Like everybody's talking about the same shit in the exact same way, but like, they'll start with the ending as their beginning of their tweet, and they'll just kind of go back and forth. But they'll say the exact same thing, and it's just like kind of tired of the simulation. And so if I jump out and jump in the Discord, that'd be pretty good. And you guys can join by just clicking the link down in the description.
Same thing with the Reddit. But just get on that Reddit.
The bots are in there, right?
The bots are
going back and forth.
Yeah.
MB Power Project is the Reddit /MB Power Project.
Dude, have you guys heard about some of that? I heard Rogan talking about that more recently of just like these bots that like start fights and
absolutely.
They fight back and forth, and then there's people that are fighting with the bots. And
well, if you look at any controversial tweet, the top 5 tweets in like the responses will be all against that same like that whatever that person said.
Yeah,
every single time, guaranteed, without a doubt. And it's like crazy because like I'll see something that like oh, this is gonna upset the left side, and sure enough, all the left is there. And then I see one very pro left, and then I'd be like, they're gonna be celebrating it, and it's like all like hardcore right. And I'm just like, huh.
Duncan Trussell, he's like, one day you're gonna walk in and see that robot fucking your wife.
That's a good Duncan Trussell. That's surprisingly good. I heard Duncan when you did that. That was solid.
I love that guy,
Dude, he's so cool.
I just laugh the whole time. It doesn't matter what he's talking about. He could be like kind of talking more serious for a few minutes, and I'm just laughing my ass off the whole time.
Yeah, he was up on VR early too. He had the Quest before it was bought out by Facebook.
The guy's a genius, I think.
He's so wonderfully weird.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Did you guys get visited by the Easter Bunny at all?
No.
I didn't get any Easter Bunny visits.
No.
I think nowadays you get visited by the Easter Bunny, you need to shoot that shit. Get that shit out of your fucking
Wouldn't
house.
that be terrifying?
That would be horrible.
Bunny rabbit.
Yes.
And the bunny rabbit's like, I got chocolate. You're like, yeah, right.
Fuck you.
Get the fuck away from you, pervert.
Yeah. Nah, I'd
Shoot him right in the dick.
shoot him or choke him out. I wouldn't want to touch that. If a large, picture that.
fucking axe to that face.
A
How strong would
human-sized
it-
bunny.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, that's some fucking nightmare
dude.
fuel right there.
Yeah, I was gonna mess with you a little bit, but my daughter went to Tahoe and then she brought back a Chucky doll.
Oh.
But it's like a weird, like it's
How
almost
big is
like it's smallish, but it doesn't matter because you turn the corner and you look into her room and it's
Why?
staring at you.
Why?
I don't know. I forgot to ask her, but I was like, I'm going to film this for Nsima. I'm like, that's a dick move. I'm not going to do that.
Wait, how big? Show me hand-wise. How big is this Chucky
like,
doll?
I don't know, like that ish, like there.
Yeah, that's too big.
Yeah, it's,
Still, that's
no,
not,
it definitely walks around at night for sure, but like it's fucking scary looking.
Dude, Chucky did the worst thing ever. Like the move I remember Chucky doing was fucking slicing that motherfucker's like Achilles tendon. Because it was underneath the bed and he just went with a little knife.
Dude.
I'm like, that is a fucking
That motherfucker.
out of all the shit you can do to somebody.
Oh, yeah, Chucky.
Yeah.
Slicing the back of their heel.
I remember he did that on Saw, not Chucky, but somebody else. Like whoever was just like, hey, all right, if you want to get up and go ahead. And he fucked his Achilles up and he tried to get up and he just fell right over.
I'd
It's
rather-
like, I thought you wanted to leave.
I'd like almost rather have somebody rip out my eyeball or something.
Something.
You know? I don't know.
If you
Maybe
guys want to see a good recent kind of horror psychological thriller movie, watch Choose or Die on Netflix. It's actually pretty damn
I'm
good.
gonna write that down. Quinn loves all that shit.
Choose or Die. Yeah, you feel very uncomfortable when you see certain things. It even gets you at the beginning, but I'm not going to ruin it. Choose or Die. And if you guys didn't understand, audience, if you didn't understand the Chucky thing, I have you know what? I'm not going to. Some people in our audience are
DMs and
fucked
shit.
up.
Yeah,
Someone's gonna
bunch of-
mail. Yeah, fuck it. I'm done. You know what? No, I have a phobia of Chucky. I won't even go into the store Spencer's. And if any of y'all fuck with me in this office, I swear I will fuck you up. I'm not even joking.
No.
But I have a phobia of Chucky. I have since I was a kid. And the Spencer's, it's this shop at the mall.
Everyone knows
Gift shop, yeah.
It's a gift shop, yeah, but they still sell Chucky dolls to this day, and they'll always have it hanging from like somewhere. So whenever I go in there, because it's gotten me before, where I turned a corner and there's Chucky, and I legit screamed and I fell backwards and I made hella things fall and I ran out the store. So now every time I go into Spencer's, I'm like, "Hi, where's your Chucky dolls?" So that I can avoid them in the store. But yeah.
Why do
I'm
they
not a
still
fan.
sell them? Like the movie's like
because it's iconic.
forever ago.
It is iconic.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
like Friday the 13th and fucking
I hate Freddy Krueger. He's the worst because like all you have to do is fall asleep and he's right there. And it's like you need to sleep at some point, right?
That's the worst. Yeah, that is the
Yeah,
worst.
that's like the worst one.
It's a great, yeah.
I mean, at least like Jason, he moves pretty slow and stuff, you know?
mhm.
I mean, he's
He
crazy.
ain't gonna
but-
kill him, but yeah,
Yeah, he's unstoppable. He's gonna keep coming at
Yes.
you no matter what.
he's probably my favorite horror villain. Is Jason.
Have you seen the new ones?
Depends on how new, but like
The one with she was old.
Oh.
In recent memory. They made some sequels where like the main woman from the Friday the 13th movies, now she's like in her 60s.
oh shit,
And she's still dealing with him. I think they made 2 of those.
really? Oh
Yeah.
no, I haven't checked that out.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
don't watch stuff.
Anyway, you
It is what
said
it
you
is.
hit up a decent amount of shrooms
Yeah,
over the
man.
weekend.
Yeah. So the
What's
last
going on
time
with that?
The last time I did a dose was 2.5 grams, and it was like last year with some friends. And it was cool, but I felt it, but it wasn't anything too wild. It was pretty cool. This time I was like, okay, I didn't go crazy with 2.5 grams. Let's bump it up. So I was like, I'm going to spend the time here today at home cleaning and doing shit. So I was just like, fuck it. I did 4.5. And luckily Sam was my girl, she was with her friend this week, and her friend came to visit, so they were just out of the house.
Oh, okay.
And then they actually came back, and I was like, just fair warning, guys, I'm on a dose, so just understand that. But yeah, that shit was wild. That shit was really wild. Like, I started cleaning, and then I had this music playing, and the music was like the most beautiful thing ever. And then I was like, I want to hear more of this. But then some music started playing that was like, it was from this this artist, I forgot how to find it, but it's like it's supposed to be, I'm guessing, music for when you're tripping, because when I was hearing it come through the speakers, it's like it was like it was doing some weird shit. I was like,
hear shit you normally can't hear.
But no, like that music was actually like, I feel like they made that music for people who are tripping balls, because I'm like, is this me just tripping, or is the music like this? But either way, some of the music I was listening to was just so beautiful. And then I was staring at my dogs, and their fur was like alive.
Oh God.
Their fur was, yeah, it's like the fur was breathing. That's the only way I can describe it. Like, I was staring at my dogs on the couch, and they're just like, it's like everything was just woo, 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 woo. And it was just like, yeah, and then I wrote some shit down, but yeah, it was a great experience. It gets you inside of yourself. That's the thing.
Everything's amplified. I noticed that being in that state, one thing that's not great for me is like food. Like food, all food kind of tastes the same. So it's like, I just try not to even bother to eat, because I'll just eat endless amounts of food. So I'm like, let me wait until I don't know if my taste buds get desensitized, but like every other sense seems to be heightened through the roof.
Yeah.
You hear music and you feel like you can see it. You feel like you're like seeing these colors kind of going along with the music, and there's like a lot of weird shit that happens. But for some reason, when you go to eat something, to me, it tastes like cardboard. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Just eat like endless amounts of steak and not get full.
That's great. Yeah. I was on a lot of drugs. When it comes to a cold, I'm not a fucking hippie at all. Like, I'm the complete opposite of everything. Like, if I have a headache, like, I'll be fine. Give me some electrolytes. I'll be good. Stomach ache, it's rare now, but like, oh, I ate something bad. Like, I'm just going to go to the bathroom. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
When it comes to a cold, I'm like, nope, no more pride. Give me all the drugs. I take way too much. But so my birthday, that night was the worst night ever. Like, well, of this cold.
Sick.
Yeah. So sleep deprivation and a lot of drugs led to some weird hallucinations that night. I say hallucinations, they were just like mild dreams, but I was awake, so it was fucking weird.
Okay.
I couldn't fall asleep because my nose was completely plugged up. And then like, as soon as I fall asleep, I'd start snoring. So I'd wake myself up. So if I try to close my mouth, I suffocate, and then I open my mouth.
Oh, that's fun.
So I was dreaming that David Weck was coaching me through how to fall asleep. That was one of the weird fucking things. And he was like literally right there in the room, just being like, no, dude,
so awesome.
Getting mad at me with his fucking fist. It's just like, let me change the camera.
Yeah. David's fucking dope though. I gotta say, like, I've been fucking around with that stuff a lot. I love it. I fucking love it.
It was so weird. And then so there's a new Halo cookbook. It's so dumb. It's like it's a normal ass cookbook, but they like, we want to sell this, so slap Halo on top of it.
Yeah.
So
it's like a Master Chief cupcake or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh my God.
The Master Chief hamburger. It's like, oh, it's just bacon and cheese. Wow, that's fucking interesting. But in my head, we were at a company meeting, and I was trying to convince Mark and Owen, like, dude, you guys should film like a cooking video on like the Halo shit, but make it like a healthier version of it. A lot of weird shit was going on.
That's actually a good idea.
But that's what I woke up and I was like, that's actually not too bad. So anyway, yeah, maybe that might happen, but we'd have to spend $20 on the digital version. So I don't know if it's worth it. But anyways,
I can say your voice is a bit like,
yeah, it's a little,
it's like seductive.
Yeah, a little bit.
Now
Stephanie likes that. Yeah,
maintain this. Just
I can't,
and to understand what it feels like in the throat, and just
throat.
let it flow.
Juicy throat.
Yeah.
What do you think you've gotten from mushrooms in your time of venturing with them a little bit?
Yeah, man. I think, so like I was mentioned before, it's like a lot of introspection. It's like, you think a lot. So I was thinking a lot about my mom, family, etc. And I do a lot of like, they live pretty close to me, so I do a lot of stuff with them. But like,
your mom is the coolest person that I never met.
Yeah, dog. Just when I was thinking about the amount of like love that woman has had for me over my life, I was just like,
how is
God,
that possible?
Yes,
right.
right? It's like it's crazy.
And you're like, I've been appreciative of her, but I should be way more appreciative of her. And you're like, I was a real shithead a lot of times, right?
Yeah. And then I was thinking about us and what we're doing. I was like, God damn, I love Andrew. Like these guys are just like the fucking greatest.
Call him up.
Yeah, like I was super grateful that like I just get to come and we get to talk, we get to do shit, we get to think of ideas and stuff. And like I am very lucky to be here with you guys. And that was that too. And then there's this one thing, because I was recording a video, like talking to myself
nice.
for when I could hear it after. And it was just like,
can we put that on the Patreon?
Hell no. I also, there's music playing and I started like doing weird shit.
Yes.
Yes. A friend of mine warned me about like, hey, it's like, it's nice to have a phone on you so you can phone a friend in case like you really trip and something crazy happens.
Yeah.
He's like, you might want to tell someone ahead of time or let somebody know, just so like someone can come pick you up if you end up lost in the woods or something, whatever. But he's like, pretty much don't text anybody.
And don't operate a motor vehicle. I did not. I made sure that day I was staying home. But
especially when you take large doses. Yeah.
Don't have the confidence, because some people drive while smoking weed.
Yeah, this will be no problem.
No, you will hurt yourself.
Yeah, not a good idea.
Right. But like, there's just one thing I said to myself, like all the things that you're trying to do and become, you're already there. You already are that. Because you know how like we all have we have these goals of trying to become something else or trying to self-development. Yeah. Like we should always try to develop ourselves, but we should also understand that as we're seeking all this shit, like we back in you always say this, you already have all those answers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can keep seeking them, but you actually have them. So
yeah, it's all sitting right there. And you think about some of the things that you like achieved, the things that you achieved, it was the journey, right? It was the working on getting to that place that was the thing. It was learning like right and wrong and learning what's going to be best for you. It's like all that stuff is the key to making progress, but it's all already there. It's all already, you're not trying to like, I think the misconception might be that you're trying to become like somebody else. Or because we see so much stuff social media wise.
So many awesome people. Yeah,
you're like, I think I'd really love to be that person. And that's not even that bad, I don't think. I don't think that's unhealthy to a certain extent, but it's more like I would like to work on some of the habits that person has so I can incorporate that into my life. And I would love to see how that fits me and how that would feel if I did that discipline for a little while. Maybe if I did it for a couple of months, maybe if I was able to keep it for like a year, maybe I would feel like I made some progress and feel better about myself.
Absolutely. That's a very big deal. Just like the habits of other people rather than trying to become other people. But I think a big thing from that was just like a lot of gratitude. Like just grateful for this thing kept playing in my head. Like, dude, you're so lucky to fucking be alive. And then like some instances of where I almost died in my life came up to mind. And I was like, God dang, like to actually just be able to be here cleaning, I'm lucky. Because there are multiple times where I could have just been popped. I wouldn't be here. So there's that too. But it was a great experience.
Do you lose when you're on a dose like that? You know, like I'll just equate it, or I'll give the example of like being drunk where you're like stumbling and shit. I know you're not like that, but like, are you impaired in any certain way? Because like even like if I have like an edible or something, I'm fucking useless for like 48 hours. Or even more.
How would you describe it? Yeah, for yourself.
Yeah, if someone was to like chuck you a football, you'd be able to catch it no problem. Like it's not like, I think if you're really hammered and someone threw a football at you pretty hard, it might, you might still try to catch it, but it'd be all funky, I don't know that mushrooms do that. Maybe when you start going real crazy with it, start getting real high dosages, but like in terms of like running and stuff on it, feels fucking incredible. Like your ankles and knees, and you're like, oh my God, I'm so thankful for this body. This body can do a lot more stuff than I ever thought was possible. You're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And you're like floating. You feel like you're floating. Like, this is fucking awesome. And then the next day, you might actually be more sore than normal because you did shit that, I mean, my brother said he's taken like high dosages before and he can walk around in like a squat position. And you guys know how tight, he can barely squat down most of the time. He's like, I could do all this crazy shit when I'm super high on mushrooms.
Damn, that's got me even more interested.
Yeah.
You never blasted yourself with it before, right?
No. So the most I've ever had was just like, it was like a cap and a stem, but like that lasted me like 3 months because like I like tried to microdose
it.
Yeah, I just take a little nibble just because I I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But like with Graham and JL both telling me like, dude, you just have to start taking mushrooms. I'm like, all right, I'll figure out how to get it.
They
but
can
like,
be weird sometimes, and they can be kind of scary.
Yeah, and that's what I think what's holding me back from like diving in and
yeah, it's like you ingest them, and then like 30 minutes goes by, and like Rogan has a whole sketch about this where he does a really good job illustrating what it is. He's like, you can hear it coming down the hallway.
Oh,
he's like,
God.
he's like, and then it knocks on your door. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa. And you're like, oh no. And you're like, I wanted to get on this ride, but not really. Like, let me out. And it's like, you're locked in.
You're locked in.
And it's like, oh, here you go. But, just like a roller coaster ride, it kind of starts a little slow. And I personally get to some spots where in my normal life, I don't feel like I ever panic. But there could be something in my subconscious that has some panicky type things. Mm-hmm. When I do mushrooms, I feel that. I feel it a lot. I get a little panicky for a little while, but it comes and goes. Mm-hmm. And then I hit my stride, and then I feel like I almost always have a very good experience with it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a lot on you too. So you're not like, oh, I can't wait to do that tomorrow. It doesn't, for me, I've never experienced that. In fact, anytime I've done a really large dose, which has only been like 3 times, the times that I did a large dose, it's expanding further away from each other, because I'm like, nah, like I don't need to fuck with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's an experience, but it takes a lot of you. It's like, when we go to like a trade show, like those are fucking dope. Those are great experiences, but it's a lot being in front of that many people communicating that much, right?
Exactly what he said. I legitimately have no want to do that again for a few months, like probably not like a month and a half or 2 or 3 months. I'm good off of that type of dose. Cause that was the first time that it was like 4.5. And I like I told you, I did 2.5 initially when I did that just to see how I'd react. So this one, I was like, oh, wow, that was a lot. The next time I do it, I'll probably do like 5.5 grams, but it's not going to be for a while. This isn't a feeling that you seek perpetually, but it's good to have like a notepad or something you can take notes on, or don't message anybody. I would like, you can if you want to, but I just wanted to like take videos of like what I would say and the thoughts that were coming to my head. And that in itself is a very interesting thing, because like, it's just you get a lot of fucking gratitude. Like you were saying, when you start running or whatever, or even when I was just like moving around in the house, I was just like, God, I'm so grateful for this. Like, I'm grateful that I can move this way, that I feel this no pain. And one thing about pain is like, if you were feeling things in certain areas, it's like, you now feel like you can have access to those areas. Like there was a little bit of stuff in my back that I was like being careful with for the past few days. But when I was doing that, like I was doing some shit with my back. I'm just like, ooh, okay, I can do this. And then afterwards, I'm like, wow. Like when I was totally clear. I was like, wow, that still feels really fucking good. Looks like I just needed the confidence to move into those ranges of my back.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeking right there.
Yeah. So
like the gratitude for what my body is capable of doing right now. I've said I've had back problems for years or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then Graham will just be like, stop. Like, you don't have back problems. Like, you're working on some shit. It's like, you need mushrooms. And he'll just like straight up tell me that. And I'm just like, okay, dude. So we'll see.
But I think one tough thing though, it's like your situation. You have a baby.
Oh yeah, no.
You have a mother.
No.
But like, I feel like if Stephanie gives you the space to be able to experience that, then like you totally can. Like, cause you literally just need some time where you don't have to worry about other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. You need to be like unencumbered.
Yeah.
For at least a little bit. I think in comparison to like alcohol, I think alcohol can be fun. And it can be, but I feel like alcohol is a little bit more of like a pause. It's more like, hey, let me see if I can slow everything else down around me, right?
Continue. But yes, I want to just talk about substances in this episode. Yeah. Let's just do that.
We're already too far.
We'll take this into a crash landing in a little bit.
Yeah. All right, alcohol.
Yeah, so with alcohol, I think it kind of reminds me of like kind of putting everything on pause. And it's not the same as like, I feel like mushrooms and even LSD, I think they're like, it's almost like you walked yourself to your closet and you're like, hey, look at this. This is a lot messier than you fucking thought, right? Like there's a lot of shit here, man. You got a giant abundance of shoes. you spend a lot of money on them and they're all over the fucking place. Like they're not even.
Are you talking about your actual closet?
I know. I thought it was like your mental
no, I'm
closet
talking
full
like
of skeletons.
literally and figuratively, like a little bit of both, you know, like so like as you do these things, it's like a look on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jesus Christ, Mark, you have an abundance of a lot of shit. Like, why in the fuck would you ever complain about anything? You have everything you need and then some. You have plenty of love in your life, plenty of hugs, plenty of smooches. You got kids, you got a wife. The relationship with each person seems pretty damn good. I'm pretty excited and happy for what my body is capable and able to do. And I keep learning more stuff. I'm capable of learning more. I'm capable of achieving more. I'm capable of like, and I'm also capable of just like totally fucking chilling and like relaxing and not worrying about particular things for a while. So I think it's like it's a look on the inside. And I know it sounds so weird to people that have never taken it before, but it's so hard to see a real image of yourself, whether you are looking into a reflection or whether someone shows you a picture of yourself or whether you're, you know, taking a selfie or whether you have a selfie and a mirror, like any of those things, like you have a decent idea of how you look doing all of those things, but you have no idea how you look to like other people. And you have no idea how you truly look to yourself, which sounds strange, but it's a drone shot.
Bird's eye view. Yep.
It's a bird's eye view of a lot of the truth. And that gets kind of dropped upon you. And sometimes that's great. And sometimes it's not so great because it could be a lot of weight. You could think like, oh shit, I'm really kind of neglecting this in my life. Or man, I need to be a little bit more respectful. Or I need to be like, it just, whatever's in that closet, whatever you chucked in there to try to make your room look clean, like now you have to go and clear it out. Now you have to go and clean it out because people are going to start, like it's going to bleed into other sections of your life. You can't just keep throwing shit into the closet. So that's kind of the way I look at it. And I don't want to bash alcohol. I actually like alcohol. But I think that alcohol in real moderation, like just a little, like I think a little bit of alcohol goes a long way. Have a drink or two.
When's the last time you were drunk? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I don't know, fucking 10 years ago probably or something. Like I don't. Right. Well, maybe more realistically, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, where I had like 4 or 5 drinks in a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, really rare. And I don't even necessarily like alcohol. Like I want the alcohol to give me like the effect. Like I kind of want to get a little bit of a buzz. So if I have food there, I'm not going to drink because the effect is going to be totally negated. And so I'm like, I'm going to eat. And then if I drink enough to where I get kind of drunk or get like over a certain amount and I ate, then I'm going to get a case of the fuck-its and eat shit that I didn't want to eat shit that's like not on my diet. So, yeah. But I do like the fact that alcohol really just kind of, you think about like a fighter in the middle of a fight and they got their hands up, like, you know, to protect yourself at all times. But I feel like drinking sometimes is like just when they shake their arms out. Yeah. It's just like, let me just fucking relax for a bit.
Like a glass of wine.
Yeah.
That's
just makes you feel like you're melting like butter.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes that can be great.
I agree with you. On the subject of alcohol, though, alcohol is real different, man. And I think I'm happy that I had an experience because I can't remember the last time I was really drunk. Like the last time I ever passed out was on my 21st birthday. Mm-hmm. I told you guys about that. Like my homies gave me a drink. They're like, drink this.
I think
and
for
I woke
the record,
up in the hospital.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. I think I've only been like really drunk like twice in my whole life.
Mm-hmm. Same here, but probably that one time though. But I mean, I think I was lucky enough to see like the dark side of alcohol because I dated somebody for a long time who had a problem with alcohol and I could see it, and they would like, it was for them, it was an escape because like they had a lot of issues that they didn't want to deal with. So they was, let me just get drunk. But what that led them to, especially when they got angry with alcohol, was breaking things, making bad decisions, with friends. It was like, I was able to see that. And then that just gave me like, ooh, dog, I mean, I never really liked alcohol that much, but it just showed me, hey, yeah, you do alcohol, just be super careful. Just be super careful, because like that can really mess people up, because then it starts to become, you don't only drink on the weekends with friends. It starts to become, oh, I need a shot to do this, or I need a shot to relax, or oh, I just want to get drunk and forget. Alcohol is literally an escape for most people. Like you said, like the fighter allowing them to put their hands down. That's like, okay, let me get
can't
rid
do
of
that
this
for
tension.
too long.
You can't do that for
You're
too
gonna
long.
get punched.
And you can't, and it's very easy to go too far, right? But like, for example, the psilocybin or the shrooms that he took, right? 4.5 grams. Afterwards, it's not something that I feel like doing too soon again, but it takes you inwards. Like I can't sleep. I couldn't sleep. You know what I mean? When I was on that dose, you're forced to think. You know what I mean? It's not something you just do for fun. But like I can see now why a lot of people like swear by it as far as therapizing yourself. Because if you do that and you get a notebook and you just sit and you think, and you just let your mind go where it goes, you're right. It's like opening a closet and seeing all the things, seeing all the things that you need to work on, the things that you've been putting away, all those things that you kind of have in the back of your head, like, ooh, I should deal with that. Well, it comes. And it's like, hey, what's up, bruh? How you doing? It's me. It's been a long time. Let's talk. You know what I mean?
A more righteous version of Nsima grabs Nsima by the wrists,
Yeah.
sits you down on the couch and says, hey, I'm going to show you like what your life really looks like. And you're like, oh, don't show me. I don't want to really see it.
It's like, nope. You're
Like,
gonna
is
be
it
here
going to
a
be
while.
nice? Is it going to be good? You're like, I don't know.
But it does make me wonder, is it like that because we already like, we're all here, all of us are focused on self-development. Like we all want to help ourselves get better. So, and we also want to give you guys any of the tools that we find to get better. We want you guys to get those tools too. So everyone in the audience is already trying to empower themselves and become better and become stronger. But is it because we already think that way that when we take mushrooms that it gives us that? Because I wonder if a person wasn't healthy up here, right? And they had a lot of really bad habits and they didn't care about self-improvement and a friend's like, here's some shrooms. Would it be a positive experience or would it be an extremely dark, negative experience?
I don't think it would be either one. Before I got here, before I changed my habits, before I became just almost like a different person, had friends that we used to just drink all the time. I had started kind of becoming aware of shrooms and be like, damn, I think I need that. Because I would use alcohol as my escape. It was the only time I was ever like not sad was when I was drunk. So that's the crowd I was with, right? So when I started learning about shrooms and, about like the antidepressant and like also the creativity side of things, I wanted to get my hands on some. But the people that I was hanging out with were just like, like, no, like we just have a lot of fun when we're on them. Like they just make you laugh your ass off. Okay. And like so it was like a party drug. It was not a personal development type thing because that's how they wanted to accept it, right? It wasn't like, I'm going to do this because I'm going to work on myself. It was, I'm going to do this because I want to have a lot of fun right now. And so they weren't looking at it as anything other than that. So I think that has a lot to do with it.
PowerProject family, how's it going? I hope you guys are enjoying the episode. And I want to tell you, sometimes when you're a lifter, you need certain pieces of equipment that's going to help you perform a little better in the gym. Just like the hip circle is going to help warm up your hips, knee sleeves are going to keep your knees warm when you're squatting. The slingshot's going to help you bench a little bit more. But the cool thing is that Mark made all of this equipment when he was in the middle of his powerlifting career because he wanted equipment that could help him perform better as it can also help you perform better. The cool thing is that all this equipment was made for lifters by lifters. Andrew, could you tell them how to get it?
Yes, that's over at markbellslingshot.com, and at checkout, enter promo code PowerProject10 to save 10% off your entire order. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
People that drink are like, that shit's dangerous. And you're like, okay, that's fine. Like you could be correct. Like I could agree. Like you're getting high as fuck off of something. I can understand. Like, yeah, agreed. But drinking alcohol is literally poisoning your body. Like this is not a natural thing. That's like, so I hate to get into that battle, but I do think that a lot of people that drink, they frown upon any other type of drug usage. Maybe smoking's not outside the boundaries for them, and maybe like some sort of nicotine type stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're on board with that. But if you say I was tripping on LSD a couple weeks ago, they would go, what?
Yep.
They'll be like, what in the, are you a fucking crazy person?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even cocaine is like, you know, people have been chewing on these fucking leaves for a long time. Like I was just listening to the.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people have been using some derivatives of this product forever. Not the same way as like, you know, snorting it and everything else. But like Mike Tyson was talking about it on Joe Rogan. He was talking about how they found a mummy that's, you know, X thousands of years old or whatever. Yeah. And it had fragments of cocaine like in its hair. You know, so they think that like they proposed that, you know, maybe these people would, you know, chew on these leaves and stuff. It would give them energy, like just like caffeine, just like a maybe like a caffeine or a coffee bean or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know a ton about it, but it's interesting. Like some of these things are like literally all the way already here. There's natural forms of like opioids that are here, a kratom leaf, right? Poppy seeds, right? Like there's stuff around that. And I'm not saying, look, anything that the earth offers is like, just go nuts with it and just go for it. Cause ibogaine is just like a dried out tree bark as far as I know. Mm-hmm. But that seems very powerful. And I think DMT, what comes from like a frog, right? Like, and comes from some other places. But the body actually naturally produces it. Like when you die.
It's in everything. Yeah.
It's in a lot of stuff. So it's, again, it doesn't give you carte blanche just to fucking, you know, throw caution to the wind and just like take as much of it as you want. But it is interesting that a lot of people that are already drinking, they're quite a bit overweight and they're like, you're wild. I can't believe you would ever even, why would you ever even do that for?
Yeah. You guys ever walk into like a legit weed head's house by any chance? Like just a fucking pothead, like, oh, I got to smoke before I go to work. Mm-hmm. And it's just like always around. Because one thing I find fucking super interesting, and maybe in the comments you guys can, you know, roast me for this, but smoking cigarettes in the house is like the most disgusting thing you can do. Mm-hmm. According to these weed heads that smoke pot nonstop inside the house. Right. They're like, oh, cigarettes smell bad and they make your shit all yellow. And I'm like, motherfucker, your house is yellow and it smells bad. But for some reason, smoking weed was okay. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
Weed is an interesting one, man. And, you know, guys, as we talk about all this, I think we got to mention, because there are some people, younger people watching this right now. I never did, I think I smoked weed once when I was 23. And it was the scariest thing in my life, and I'll tell you why. But I didn't really do I never did mushrooms before I was 25 or anything really, because I have a relative that, you know, if you never know until your brain is fully formed what could happen. And there's someone close to me that smoked some weed when they were like, 22, and had a schizophrenic episode, and they're schizophrenic for the rest of their life. So there are some individuals that have like, it's not because of the weed, but it's like, especially this type of stuff has happened to people before their brain fully develops. But if you have a propensity for that thing to happen, and then you do it before your shit's fully formed, it could change your life. Like, you know, so now they're fully schizophrenic. So like, I would highly just suggest, if you ever want to do anything that we're talking about here, look at your family history, and just to be safe, wait until your shit's fully done. Yeah. Like, because a lot of people smoke weed as teenagers and stuff, and they're fine in their 20s and stuff. But because I knew that that's something that could be in my genetics, I've been very careful with substances, because I'm just like, I don't want to have a psychotic break. But I smoked weed once when I was 23, and the reason it was the scariest thing was because I'm like, I don't know if my shit's fully done. They say your brain's fully formed by the time you're 25. So I was like, this could be it, Nsima. I came out fine, as you guys can tell, or maybe I'm kind of fucked. Who knows? But weed is an interesting one, because like, it can, if you use it not to try to escape, it could be a really cool thing for different types of thought, creative thought. At least that's how I kind of use it. That's how I use it these days. I like, even when I drink, right? I'll drink wine and I'll have like a glass, you know, but I'll never have multiple glasses of wine because I don't want to get drunk. Whenever I smoke, I use the smallest amount of weed, even to this day, because you'll get high, but then you can actually, it'll allow me to think about things. But I've never been blasted. That's not something that I personally seek when I'm getting high. I don't seek to just get high and blasted, because maybe that could be good for some people. But like you said, weed heads, you call them weed heads.
Yeah.
When a lot of people smoke a lot, I have friends who they're like, yeah, I had to get out of smoking because when I did it too much, and it was causing me not to want to focus on work. All I wanted to do was smoke. I didn't feel good unless I was smoking. Same thing with any substance we talk about, even like kratom. I'm always careful about my use of any of these things, because it's like, if I get to a point where I can't get through the day without taking it, I know, I need to be careful with the amount, because these things can be so fucking useful. I love using kratom, especially pre-podcast, because it just gets me in the conversation, and it's so useful, and even focusing on things. But then if it goes too far, you gotta walk that line responsibly for yourself.
I think it's really easy to fall into alcohol, and to get in too deep. You drink once, you drink every Friday night, and then Saturday night you don't feel good, but you notice that when you drink again that it like gets rid of the headache and stuff like that. I mean, there's some real shit going on in your body when it comes to alcohol that cries out for more alcohol once you get down that road a bit. And it's very, very easy. It's easy to be like, well, it's also easy to like not think that you have a problem, depending on what company you're with. If everyone always is drinking, everyone's always got a glass, everyone's always got that red Solo cup with them, it's like a kinship, it's like, and then when you don't have a drink, everyone makes a big deal. Like, oh, you're not going to have a drink? Like, come on, bro. Like, seriously? Like, why are you being all stiff? And you're like, I don't know.
They make fun of you.
They make fun of you. And you're like, we got together the last 3 nights in a row and I drank on those days. Like, I just want a fucking day off. But like, people they're not used to that. They think something's wrong. And then also, like, in general, I think people should be conscious and maybe people are more conscious today. Like, somebody could have had an issue with alcohol, and you should be respectful of that, because if they're not drinking, I mean, they probably have a reason. Like, they saw the alcohol, they know that you have alcohol, you mentioned it already. Just fucking let it pass. Maybe they have some alcoholism, or maybe they have some in their family and they're kind of just recognizing, like, I'm not going down a great path. And it's not great for you to kind of like harp on them, over it. But with some other types of drugs, I think you can overdo anything.
Coffee.
I would also say, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, coffee, yeah. I would say that you can overdo anything and you can get addicted to anything. And what I would love to have happen through this podcast and through other information that you're getting, and hopefully you're working on some personal development, I hope that you have other skills other than to just reach for a drug. I hope you have other skills that will allow you to feel rested enough to where you don't feel like you always have to reach for caffeine for everything that you do throughout the day. As I'm sitting here sipping on this Zoa Plus with 200 milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah, this what flavor is this one? The pineapple passion fruit?
I got the grape.
Dude, the pineapple passion fruit is phenomenal. This one's really good. Sorry.
That's like a quick water. Wait, actually,
no, you can't touch this. No, but this one's, dude, I highly recommend the.
That was good.
The drugs are still in me.
Very Andrew enthusiastic.
I know, huh?
Singing the song.
Sorry to fuck up your line of thought or whatever. Yeah, you're saying reach for other skills, not just drugs.
Yeah, hopefully you start to develop some skill sets, and if you don't feel like you have, then it would be great if instead of reaching for a beer all the time, maybe you reached for a piano, maybe you reached for a guitar, maybe you reached for
a rope,
throwing some fucking darts. Yeah, a rope, jumping rope. Maybe you just want to do some fucking push-ups, go on a walk, go on a run.
That rope could have been real dark.
Oh, God. Yeah, reach for a rope.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, like, the RMT ropes that David Wett came with.
Not jacking off.
Not hanging it, or not hanging it. What's it called? Sexual asphyxiation?
I don't know.
That's it.
There's something to it. Or erotic asphyxiation.
Yeah, I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah. But
you know about that.
I don't know anything.
Yeah.
That weird shit.
I was having this conversation with a friend over the weekend, actually.
About erotic asphyxiation?
No, but that would have been good.
Oh, okay. Something else.
No, about just beer. He was like, yeah, I challenged myself to go a whole year without drinking, because he was like, I would just have a beer after work, no big deal. then beer after work, and then a beer with dinner, and then a beer after dinner. He's like, and I'm just thinking like, wow, my son's developing and he's watching his dad drink every day. Like, he's probably not noticing, but what if he is? Like, then he's going to be like, oh, that's what men do, right? Because he sees him working out, doing manly shit, hunting, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he drinks beer. Okay, that's what men do. And he's just like, it hit me all at once. He's like, so I just said I'm going to go, 100 days. And 100 days pass. He's like, I'm going to go for a year. And once you do get past a certain amount of time, you kind of realize you don't need it anymore.
Is that how it was for you?
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't understand how anybody could have fun, period, without getting drunk, because that's what I would do every weekend, and I would do it every night. It was who I was. Like, I wasn't me unless I was drunk. It was fucking wild. Yeah. I will say I'm a different person when I drink, but I'm just like more outgoing, loving, happy. I don't get into arguments. No, that's
I'm an angry drunk.
Yeah, no, fuck that. I have been like blackout drunk where people say I did weird shit, and I'm just like, huh, okay, that's interesting. But I forgot what I was getting at. But anyway, what I was gonna say is, like, after a certain amount of time, you realize, oh, like, I'm not that person. That's okay. It did take me a long time, but like the only times I've drinking anything was on this fucking podcast or hanging out with you guys. That like speakeasy in Ohio. That what was it, Old Fashioned or whatever that was called?
No.
Yeah, the whiskey.
Yeah. Oh, the old fashioned. Okay.
That was delicious. I couldn't stop drinking that shit. I mean, one cup I couldn't stop drinking. Like, I just kept like sipping tiny little sips. I was like, oh, this is classy.
Yeah, see, that's high class alcohol.
Yeah, but other than that, I don't drink outside of hanging out with you guys, which is hilarious.
Some people have settings where they feel like it enhances something. And I always say, like, if you feel like it enhances something, like if you want to go to a baseball game and you think a hot dog and beer makes it more fun and you really love that and you do it a couple times a year, it's like, I don't have any, even if you get kind of hammered that day, like, it sounds fine. Like, it sounds reasonable. You do it here and there,
Tailgating at a Niners game. Yeah. Getting a little good buzz so you can talk shit. When I start screaming, that's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, when I go to comedy shows, I'll always get like a beer or two.
Oh yeah,
like that's like the only
2-drink minimum.
Yeah. It's like, but it is funny you say that. You're gonna laugh
more. You're gonna enjoy yourself more. Yeah, you're gonna relax. Right?
I don't really drink beer outside of those settings, or every now and then if I'll get something at the store. But yeah, it's usually something like that. But it's still not seeking to get drunk. I can feel how getting a little bit buzzed is enjoyable. It's definitely enjoyable. So I wouldn't tell a person never drink again, but like, just got to be careful.
Right.
I like what Mark had said in the past, and I'll say it again because we have a lot of new listeners. But if you are the person that's drinking it because you want to fit in, because you're a little socially awkward, you want to be the only one that's not drinking. Well, once they're like 2-3 drinks in, it doesn't even matter, because once their buzz starts going, then it's like you can pretend that you're drunk and they won't even fucking know.
So they're not going to care and know the difference. The peer pressure too is gone after like 3 minutes. A couple people like, oh, you're not drinking. They make a big deal, and then it's all over with.
Yeah.
And everyone's fine with it. No one's going to really they're not going to fucking kick you out. They're not going to really make fun of you. They're going to try to point out something that you're not doing that everybody else is doing.
Yeah. And then, but you will inevitably have that savage friend that's like still up the same time as you in the morning, not hungover. It's just like, fuck, how's this guy do it?
I know a guy like that. He has this Eastern European blood in him, last name Polacek. And I'm just like,
well, of course.
Yeah. He could like have fucking 12 to 15 shots of tequila. Wake up the next morning, go on a run.
His body just metabolizes it somehow.
And he's jacked. We played soccer together at Sac State. To this day, he's still jacked. And he still drinks that much. And I'm just like, dog, you look vibrant and alive and good. What the fuck are you doing? It's like some people really, they just have they just can. I never understood it.
They can just get after it.
Yeah. That's my brother. He could, back when he was in his darkest days, he just was drunk literally all day long, every day. And it was wild. Which does bring up like the whole thing about like beer being masculine, even though it like crushes your testosterone and raises your estrogen. It's like, man, if I were to develop a like for sure can't miss plan to like feminize men, it would be to
get them to drink,
make beer.
Homer Simpson.
Yeah, dad bod, and you get some titties, and you got a belly. Like, that's not.
Yeah.
That's not a very manly look.
No.
Right? Peter Griffin, Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
Like
Peter Griffin's funny.
yeah, Homer loved that Duff beer though, and he had a pot belly, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's still a good father. But anyway, yeah. You know what though? When you were talking about getting some different habits, like really, you know, we were talking about this another day that but whenever we have problems, there are other things that we do, but all of us have a tendency to go exercise, go sweat, go walk it out, go walk and think. Like I'll exercise and think because that'll help. That first off, I feel better. I feel better moving. We always say motion's the lotion, right? Like moving and movement is medicine. Movement is something that can get you out of your head into your body and allow you to kind of just think about whatever it is rather than sitting around and drinking yourself to a place where you don't have to think anymore. Movement is a good habit to build to help get through problems. And luckily enough, that's something that we all here seek, which is part of the reasons why we're able to stay in shape. It's one of those reasons, but it's a habit.
I think if you're seeking stuff, you'll find it. And you don't really, I think it's like the main message of the Bible. It's like just whatever it is that you want or whatever it is that you're looking for, just ask. Like that's, there's a lot of that kind of stuff in the Bible itself. And I think that that's great. Like what is something that's problematic for you? What is something that you would like to remove from your life or add to your life? If drinking alcohol isn't a problem, then don't fucking listen to us. Like if you feel like you're fine and you're not lying to yourself, then again, that sounds reasonable. Like I'm going to have a couple drinks. Even if you do it a couple times a week, I don't think there's any sort of real issue with it unless you feel like you have to have it. I have to have it in order to do this. I have to have it in order to do that. I think that's where you can run into some problems. But as you were mentioning, seeking out being better and seeking out, like we're in the process of trying to do what we feel is going to help make us better. And I do think that it does, like the intentions matter. And I want to say that you don't necessarily need psychedelics. You don't necessarily need any drugs. Comes from the guy who talks about steroids all the time. You can find a path that will light your fucking world on fire just by going through different things, whether it's reading, whether it's running, whether it's lifting. Like when I was a kid, I always thought I was dumb, but I lit up the other side of my brain via going through my body. And I think that everyone's body works that way. I think that you fix the mind with the body, and I think that you fix the body with the mind. I think they work together. If something hurts, then your mind's going to be a little down. Your mind, it's going to be difficult for your mind, no matter what skills you learn with your mind. Your mind is always going to have, in the back of it, is always going to have this layer of like, I'm in pain. My knee hurts, my back hurts, whatever the case is. If you haven't developed skills mentally, it's going to be hard for you to really dig deep on certain things from a physical perspective, because you just never really felt those things before. And I talk a lot about mindsets when you're in the gym, digging deep. You're prescribed to do 20 reps because you read that Nsima trains that way. You read that this guy trains that way, and you want legs like that person. So you're doing a 20 rep set of squats. You get to rep 18 and it's still fairly easy. Well, fucking keep going. That's where you're going to find a psychedelic-like effect in your fucking brain that you probably never felt before. You can get all that through doing 400s on a track, through squats, through doing leg extensions, through deadlifting. You're not going to really necessarily get that doing a set of curls. It doesn't work that way. It's got to be the harder shit. It's got to be like if you listen to David Goggins and you're completely turned off by him, you haven't fucking been there in your life yet. You haven't felt that yet. You haven't felt that vibe. You haven't felt that vibration. Because I know, like, he yells at me and I'm like, that motherfucker, I hate this guy. Why is he fucking screaming all the time? But if you dig deep within yourself and you listen to him after you've done some of that stuff, then you're like, okay, I get it. It's not my cup of tea. I don't really love someone yelling at me all fired up that way, telling me that I only did 40%. But he's fucking right. You definitely didn't do 100%. You haven't really been there yet. But I'm telling you, you can set your mind on fire. Like my mind's on fire every time I run. I've asked other runners, I'm like, hey, you ever just run and just fucking start bawling? They're like, all the time. Do people even know that? I've never even heard anybody they talk about the runner's high, but they don't talk about fucking bawling your eyes out randomly just because something hits you. It's odd. But I mean, that can happen sometimes with a song. That can happen sometimes in your car. Like these things happen, right? Like sometimes I'll get an emotion about my brother. Sometimes I'll get an emotion about my mom or whatever. And I'll think, and yes, I'll get a little bit upset, right? I'll get like moved by it. But it happens really fucking frequently when I'm exercising. It doesn't really happen as much in the gym. The gym is like kind of a different thing for me. Maybe it's different for some other people, but you guys have been around here a long time. How many people do we have in the gym that are like recovering drug addicts? And when they start talking about the gym, you see their eyes light up. They talk about it in like a different way than most people. It's like it's become like not just a hobby for them. It's become like a religious experience to them. So their squats, their deadlifts, all these things are the same introspective look that we're talking about experiencing from psychedelics done slightly differently. The drugs can get you there. It's like a shortcut to get there, and it puts you there in certainly probably a different way. But for those of you that are like, I don't really know, just go fuck yourself up with some training and you'll feel something similar.
Man, there's going to be someone who said, I fucked myself up in training. I hurt myself.
I hurt myself and now I'm crying because I can't go back.
All I got is a torn calf muscle.
Oh man.
I remember the last time I was brought to tears was a shoulder workout.
You brought to tears?
Yeah.
What kind of shoulder workout was it?
Just my regular like cable fucking lat raise. It was just perfect timing. Middle of the pandemic. The song was called Help Is On The Way by Rise Against, which I highly recommend.
Oh, you just had that fucking
and I was
feeling,
just fucking going, like, dude, I was just going. I was supposed to do, I don't know, set of 10 or whatever, and it was like on fire, and this fucking song hit me, and I was just like, holy shit. And I did the other side, and just boom, there it was. I'm like, why the fuck am I crying? Like, god damn it, like, go on to something else. I gotta change the song. Something's weird. But yeah, that is weird. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain to somebody, and people are on the outside are gonna be like, really, dude? It's like, well, like you just said, you got to get there if you want to understand it.
It's going to be interesting. We're going to do another podcast episode. A friend of mine, she said that her boyfriend doesn't exercise. Just doesn't exercise. And I heard that.
You're off the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard that, and I was just like, I didn't think about it. But then a second later, I was like, what would life be? Because I just realized, wait, that is actually an experience that the only time I remember what that was like was when I was 13 and I couldn't run for a small period of time, and I became a depressed human, literally depressed. I just went to my room, did nothing else because I didn't have an outlet like soccer. Then my mom got me into the gym, and then I was back to me again. But when I heard that, when I started thinking more about it, I'm like, God damn, an existence where you purposefully never really exert your body. When I say exercise, it's not that this man doesn't go to the gym. It's that he doesn't run. He doesn't do push-ups, pull-ups, doesn't do jump rope. He doesn't exercise. Barely walks.
Get your heart rate up over 100 and maybe it stays up for more than 5 minutes.
Doesn't do that.
Something like that.
And then I was just like, God, like I just imagined doing that, like just not exercise. I'm just like, wow, that. And then she started talking about all the issues that they had, and I was just like, wow, I'm not surprised. If an individual doesn't use their body, right, or exert it to a certain point, that's like even putting myself in those shoes or attempting to.
It's an insult to the framework that you're built with.
Yeah,
it's an insult to being a human being. Like, you have these capacities, you don't use them. I just don't think it's good. I think it's fucking like, you don't want to say things are good and bad, and you don't want to judge people.
Of course not.
But sometimes you got to be like, that's bad. Like, that sucks. That's not good. That's not a good way to be a human, in my opinion.
Because let's not even think about the moral aspects of it, because we're not going moral here. But let's just think of the longevity aspects of not exerting your body, not getting your heart rate to that point. Like, you will die sooner. Like you will. My grandmother's 100 years old, but my grandmother also had a habit of walking a lot every single day. Like she wasn't someone who was in the gym or whatever, but my grandma would walk. And when she got really old and it was a little bit stressful to walk outside, she just put some weights in her hand and walk around the house. Like she made sure to use her body all she could. Until now, like it's hard for her because she's 100, but mentally it's wild. She'll talk about stories from like when she was young. She's there. Like there's nothing missing from her. Her hearing's a little bit hard and her eyes are a little bit whatever, but her mind, if you say something that's not right or you say something that's factually wrong in what she knows about the story or whatever, she'll be like, hey, no, that's not right. This is how it happened at 100. Yeah. And that's because that woman has used her body, So it's very interesting, but everyone listening to this podcast definitely understands the benefits of exercise. But the thing is can we get this to people who don't understand how useful exercise can be?
I don't think you get to experience everything that you should experience. If you're not, exercise is like a weird way of, exercise and working out isn't necessarily all that we're talking about here. We're talking about like some sort of physical exertion. Like maybe you have a manual labor job where it's like, man, I'm fucking lugging around sheetrock all day. I don't really need to do, there's people that do that during the day and they love building stuff and they're real mechanically inclined and they go home and they like fucking tend to their garden outside. Like there's a lot of stuff that you can do. You might hike or there's a lot of stuff that you might do that you're not even thinking of that is a form of exercise. But if you're not like exercising your body, I don't think you're exercising your mind. And I think it makes it more difficult. And I could be wrong. I think it just makes it more difficult to experience life to its fullest. And I think the like bare minimum requirement of some simple movement is low. Like it's not really high. Like you don't have to do a lot. Like we exercise a lot. We got here this morning, we exercised. When we're done with this, we're probably going to exercise again. You could even make an argument that we overdo it. We're in the gym for too long. Like we understand a lot of those things. Mm-hmm. We get it. We got just fired up about it and we're psyched about it. But for your average person, just getting in some daily exercise of some kind, an exercise or a body part, or some activity, just activity, period. You don't have to look at it. I think when you start to look at things as like a workout, then you start to think like, I need like a system. I need a coach. I need someone. It's like those things are all great and they can be beneficial, but let's not even bother to start there. Just figure out some forms of exercise that you like that probably get you sweaty, that make it a little bit harder to talk to someone that's next to you while you're doing it. And that's a great start. And you can start right there.
And make walking normal. It's funny, like because I played soccer all my life, when I stopped playing that, one of my exes, the healthy one, was like, why don't you walk? And I was like, I don't like to walk. I look back on that. I'm just like, dog, so stupid. I did start walking more, but the fact that I was just like, walking I'd rather go on a run. I look at walking now, I'm just like, God, it would be so weird if I didn't just go take walks, like, because I can feel the benefits, especially during like ideas, thoughts, etc. But like walking shouldn't be exercise. It should just be a normal thing that you do. You should just walk, Anyway, don't do drugs, kids. It's bad for you.
Yeah, definitely don't do drugs.
Yeah, don't do drugs. After everything we said, don't do drugs.
Yeah, lifting can be a drug for you.
Oh, man. But yeah, have you, so let me ask you, so you've never smoked weed?
I never have. You want me to do it on the show?
You want to?
Want me to do it right now?
Would you want to smoke weed on an episode?
Why not? Oh, that'd be funny.
That'd be fun.
Can we smoke in here, or I guess we could move it outside?
Oh, it would be so minimal it wouldn't mess with the smell of the place. We'll do an episode slightly high. You guys down?
I'm down for it.
Well, you guys have had THC on the podcast, though.
That's true.
You've had THC capsules.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
which would get you higher than.
Nah, this will be different. All right, I'll bring it in, and we'll have a little
sting operation.
this week. Let's do
Someone
it.
comes in and arrests me. It's like I don't have my medical card or whatever.
This will be fun.
It's for my glaucoma.
It's because I have anorexia or whatever.
All right, guys. Remember, Mark said he's going to do an episode high, so we'll all be high. I don't know if Andrew, if you want to partake.
I'll get contact high for sure. But.
Let's maybe do it like if we go to Bodega or we go to Tahoe, which we'll do. We'll set a date. We'll set a date.
Like I want to put that.
I'd be down.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do it.
Yeah. I've never smoked anything, so all I'm going to do is cough all over the place. Probably.
Yeah. It's you've done shrooms. To be honest, this is way more mild.
We want this on camera, or are we?
Yes.
Okay.
We want this on camera.
Like it's legal, right? Okay.
It's legal.
I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking. You know,
It's
being the
legal.
guy, the thinker over here.
Yeah, it's
not
totally
James
legal.
Smith, but I'm thinking.
And
Cops
when
come in.
when I smoke, I don't smoke a lot. Like I don't go crazy with it. So we'll just all do a
I
light.
love Nsima just to
Sure
roll
you
a
do.
big old blunt. Just fucking like, guys, I don't roll a lot, or I don't smoke a lot, but
He's got it looks
like
like
in
a burrito.
comparison, it's just
Dog,
this,
I don't
it's
use
this
it.
microphone right here. Like, guys, this is small. This is nothing.
What's that thing called? A bong?
Yeah.
I use that. I have a mini bong at home. This is a good episode, guys.
Dude, I knew motherfuckers in high school that smoked so much they like would always say like whatever thing I had, they were like, "Don't throw that out. I can turn that into a bong."
Yeah. No.
I know people like that.
I'm like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?"
Weed heads
No, that'd be
are
perfect for a bong. I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?"
they're very motivated when it comes to figuring out how to smoke weed.
I love how you call them weed heads.
Because
You
that's
sound
what
like a
they are,
dad.
sir.
Weed heads.
Smoking their pot cigarettes. But yeah, no, they'll become fucking MacGyver when it comes to like, I gotta get high. How can I remember I was like in 10th grade. He was like in 12th or so. Like me and all my buddies. And then of course we had the one older fucking weed head friend. He made a gravity bong in my shed in the backyard.
What's a gravity bong?
Fucking insane. Well, it just people. So 5 gallon like Home Depot bucket, and then a milk jug cut in half. Okay, so the water is inside of the 5 gallon bucket.
Okay.
Half of the gallon. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time remembering shit. 5 gallon water. Boom. Gallon jug is cut in half. Foil on top of where you would pour out the milk.
Yeah.
Weed in there, like that, and as you pull up, the pressure sucks all of the smoke down into the egg carton, the milk jug. So now the milk jug is just full of smoke.
Yeah.
Then whoever's gonna hit it, you just fucking put your mouth on it and then slam your face down into the bucket, and all that goes straight into you, and you fucking die, but you get really, really high.
Wow.
It's called the gravity bong.
That's very interesting.
They're fucking smart, dude, when it comes to getting high.
Yeah.
Not so much getting off the couch, but
Yeah. Nah, when you have a friend and they smell like weed wherever they go,
or their car.
or their car smells like weed,
Like,
like
sorry, I had the AC on when I was smoking. Shouldn't have did that. Like,
that's not
This is my favorite running song, by the way.
ooh.
Let's see. We'll bring it up.
Oh, because I got high.
I hope this doesn't hit us.
No, we'll be fine.
Okay.
As long as it's not over 15 seconds.
I love that.
Afro
song. I'll
Man.
shut it off.
Because I got high. Because I got high.
It's so funny, especially like towards the end of the song.
Yeah.
He had all this shit he was supposed to do, like, but he was high, so he fucking couldn't do any of it.
That is such a good song. I heard the last time I heard that I was in like high school or some shit.
Yeah.
I love that song. I love shit like that. I love stuff that's like fun.
Very,
Fun and silly.
very unknown thing about Afro Man is the rest of that album is a serious rap album, and it is fucking good. It's
Oh, wow.
not just that one single that's kind of silly, which is what I thought it was. And then a friend of mine was like, no, you got to check this out. And he can rap his ass off.
Oh, wow.
He's fucking dope. Yeah.
That's sick.
I was surprised.
Did you get that Kendrick thing I sent you from TikTok?
I haven't watched it. What is it?
Please just, after this podcast, please watch it.
Is it more than 7 seconds?
Dog, it's actually very cool. It's very cool. But guys, like I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, come to Discord. We're going to have some fun. We have conversations there. People ask questions. We bring it onto the podcast. We'll be doing Discord Q&As. So check that out. Go to the PowerProject Reddit. We will be having a Patreon soon because there are things we cannot do on YouTube. So you guys will be checking that out soon.
Can you smoke weed on YouTube?
Oh, well, probably.
I'm assuming it's
Yeah.
legal in our states. Like,
Yeah, it's not illegal to smoke weed on YouTube.
can you drink beer on YouTube?
Yes, you can, but
Okay.
then your content needs to be age restricted.
So then it would have to be age restricted.
we'll see, Andrew.
I'm
We'll figure it out.
crossing the T's and dotting the lowercase J's.
Lowercase J's.
Yeah.
I dig it. Yeah, we'll figure it out, bro.
Take us out of here, Andrew.
Thank you, everybody, for checking out today's episode. Apologies if you guys heard me sniffling back here. I tried my best not to, but then I caught myself doing it anyway. So I'm sorry. But please like today's episode and subscribe if you guys are not subscribed already. Drop us comments down below. Really appreciate it. And follow the podcast at MB Power Project on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all the things. My Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter is at I am Andrew Z. And Nsima, where you at?
And Nsima Inyang on Instagram and YouTube, and Nsima Inyang on TikTok and Twitter. And by the way, guys, the name's Nsima, not Nsimane. I think people add the IN for my last name, and they think my last name is Yang, but it's Inyang. But you can just say Inyang. Mark.
People got it all fucked up, huh?
It's a dog. It's a weird name.
I'm at Mark Smelly Bell. Strength is never weakness. Weakness never strength. Catch you guys later.